So, guys, Manchester United 2, Brentford 1. We finally have our first win since the 17th of September when Manchester United had the last ever competitive win this season was against Barnsley in the Carabao Cup, which we won 7-0 at Old Trafford. But since then, it's been nothing but a downward spiral from Manchester United. But today, we finally have our first win in over a month. It's been a long month. It's been a long time coming, but Manchester United 2, Brentford 1, where we deserve to win on paper. I think based on today's performance and I think based on today's comeback inside the second half, I think Manchester United do deserve the result, but it was very, very touch and go from the end of the first half where we've got to talk about a bit of abysmal defending once again from Manchester United back four, as well as a certain person yet again costing Manchester United, who I keep on saying time and time again, Manchester United will never get anywhere with a certain player inside that back four. But it's actually nice to have a free. It's nice to have the win. It's nice to have the result in. It's nice to have the victory because it's been a long time coming. We've had to wait since the 17th of September. It's been over a month since Manchester United last won a competitive game of football. And it's actually nice that they haven't actually ruined your weekend for once. And it's nice to actually celebrate quite a positive result, which again has bailed Erik ten Hag out massively of being sacked today, where defeat against Brentford today probably would have cost Erik ten Hag his job, and I probably would have expected Erik ten Hag to have been sacked if we would have lost this game today. But Man United, it still wasn't pretty. It still wasn't the brilliant Manchester United that we expect, but Manchester United got over the line. But I would say it was only just. I don't think we were that good in terms of possession. I think if you concede a really, really late first half goal, the morale and the confidence was on the floor again. And you can see by the morale that the players were very, very, pissed off with the way they conceded that goal so late inside the first half. And then to be booed off at half time, I thought this is only going to end in one way and one way only, that Manchester United will be sacking Erik ten Hag come the end of this game tonight. But it was actually nice to be inspired by, Alejandro Garnacho and Rasmus Hojlund. I think for me, two players that should be starting week in, week out for Manchester United. They need to be playing every game because for me, they are your two best youthful young players that I think for me, Manchester United need to build their future around. So I think the quality is there in abundance to see that both these players really, really care about the direction that Manchester United are trying to go in. And I think to have those two both on the score sheet today is a massive, massive positive sign of Man United. Hopefully are going to try and turn things around for the rest of the season, because when you're 1-0 down in such late stages inside the first half, where you've conceded the goal in the 50th minute with 5 minutes being added on late inside the first half, I mean, let's talk about that moment of absolute abysmal defending again. And I keep talking about this certain player, and I keep saying time and time again, this player will let you down. And he is never, ever going to be good enough to be inside that Manchester United back four. And I'm again to say sorry today, but Diogo Dalot has got to take massive, massive responsibility for his defending and for his abysmal marking inside that penalty area from the Brentford corner. And you've also got to blame the whole team as a whole when you've got so many Manchester United players inside your own penalty area. Why ONANA has not instructed two players to go on both the back posts to prevent Brentford from having a free shot on goal and getting a free header on goal. Why no players are on that back post is absolutely worrying. You can't leave that much space at your back post. You have to have a man on each post to prevent that ball ending in the back of the net. That isn't good enough defensively. That's quite worrying defensively, that if you're going to leave that much space, you are going to concede a heck of a lot of goals. And you need a man on each post, because you can either have a low shot, you can have a header, you can have you've got potential of all types of shot options going inside your penalty area. If you leave that amount of space at either of your back posts, you can't leave that space. And that for me was also a massive, massive sign of responsibility for not just the goalkeeper, but the whole team as a whole. But you've got to question all this hype around Diogo Dalot. You've got to question why Diogo Dalot was bought by Manchester United in the first place, because I keep seeing people, waxing lyrical on how great Diego Dalot is and how magnificent he has been this season, and the momentum he is gathering under Erik ten Hag has been nothing more than magnificent. If you go back and watch that performance inside that first half today, what the hell is Diego Dalot thinking? You get the Brentford corner, they've got a dangerous set piece. You've got to be marking your man inside the penalty area. It's quite easy to defend that situation that Manchester United have got themselves into. Diego Dalot starts off by marking Ethan Pinnock. You've got to mark a type of player like that who's got the height and the versatility to get his head onto the ball. And he starts off quite well. He's got his man, he's covering him. But all of a sudden, Ethan Pinnock absolutely brushes aside Diego Dalot. And Diego Dalot just stands there, and Diego Dalot lets him have that free header on goal. And it goes 1-0 to Brentford. And you've got to be questioned why Dalot has allowed Ethan Pinnock to get himself into a completely free situation in the first place. But you've also got to question why he's not been marking his man for that whole set piece from the corner. You need to be tracking your man inside your penalty area. You can't be letting him run away from you and letting him brush aside you and thinking you're not even there. You can't get yourself into that situation because you're going to be letting yourself open for massive, massive defensive woes if you don't cover the height and the ability and the strength that a player like Ethan Pinnock does cause a lot of defensive woes for the opposition. And Ethan Pinnock, gets a free header on goal inside our own penalty area. You can't be allowing that to happen because you're going to be left in yourself open to be exposed for your defensive woes. And Diego Dalot should be knowing better, I'm afraid. You've got a right back who clearly just completely gives up. I don't know why he allows Ethan Pinnock in the first place to get away from him. You need to be covering that type of dangerous threat inside your penalty area. You can't be letting him run away from you, because if he runs away from you and he gets all that space, he's going to get that ball on the header. He's going to get that situation uncomfortably, deservedly, in my view. Inside those last 5 minutes, inside that first half, Brentford were the better team. They were massively the better team. But before that, we absolutely dominated. The amount of chances we had inside that first half, it's no wondering why Manchester United are struggling to score goals, because we don't have the players to keep doing it consistently. We are struggling with our strikers. We are struggling with the options on the wing, but also struggling with the lack of creativity coming through that midfield. But Man United were the better team in that first half. We absolutely battered Brentford. I didn't really see much of a threat from Brentford than what I was expecting. I was really expecting quite a tougher game from a Brentford point of view. I thought Brentford were going to come to Old Trafford today and really give us a game. But inside that first half, we were massively the better team. We created more of the best opportunities to score, and we didn't take our chances. We really, really didn't. And to go 1-0 down inside those last 5 minutes is absolutely disheartening, because if you go 1-0 down, what is that going to do to the team in the second half? But somehow, something from somewhere, we got that second half comeback. And I don't know where it came from, because I was expecting nothing in that second half, if I'm going to be really honest with you. I wasn't really expecting Manchester United to rescue this game. I really wasn't expecting us to turn this around, because if you go 1-0 down, I think, the heads are dropped, the heads are down, the morale's dropped, the confidence has gone. And Erik ten Hag, in my view, has saved his job again. He's absolutely been saved again from the sack. And it was going to be a completely different title for this live stream, for this full-time reaction. I was going to say that Erik ten Hag has got to be gone tonight. He's got no choice to be sacked, and Erik ten Hag has got to be dismissed. But again, he's something from somewhere has got Erik ten Hag out of trouble, and any chance of being sacked isn't going to happen. But again, it's only one win. It's only one result. It's only a lucky 3 points. Because again, if Man United would have taken their chances inside that first half, it could have been a cricket score, because we were the better team. Brentford could not cope with our attacking threat. They really, really could not cope. And for me, the only threat, in my view, inside that first half, the only player that I think, in my view, that caused Brentford problems was Garnacho. Like, he was the only player I got any confidence from. He was the only player I actually thought, you know what, he's actually creating so many opportunities. And I'm a big fan of Garnacho, and I'm a massive, massive fan for him. And I keep on being that person who's saying Garnacho needs to be starting on that left wing every fucking week for Manchester United, because he's got the quality, he's got the skill, he's got the charisma, he's got the passion. And there's a player there who's absolutely trying his best with everything he's got to get Manchester United over the winning line. And the amount of chances that he had on that Brentford goal, I honestly thought one is going to go in eventually, but he just kept getting denied by Flecken at his front post. With, you know, Garnacho kept on shooting with his left foot a lot inside that first half. And obviously he tried to use the FIFA glitch. He tried to go for the front post, but obviously Flecken was there to be able to deny Garnacho on so many opportunities to get Manchester United in front inside that first half. And I think, which was a really, really, really abysmal miss, I think was it on the 35th minute, ERIKSEN has that one-on-one with Flecken, and he gets and somehow inside that Brentford penalty area. And obviously CASEMIRO is wrestling with the Brentford centre-back, was it Nathan Collins? And obviously play was allowed to be resumed, play was allowed to carry on, and Manchester United got inside that Brentford penalty area. But the miss from ERIKSEN is absolutely abysmal. And I thought to myself, again, this is going to be a nothing day for Manchester United. It's going to be another day of complete and utter frustration. And if we don't take our chances, we're not going to score the goals, and we won't be able to put the ball in the back of the Brentford net. But the miss from ERIKSEN is absolutely abysmal. But luckily, the egg which was on ERIKSEN's face has been taken away from him, because the referee did decide then to give Brentford the free kick, because obviously he honestly thought CASEMIRO fouled Nathan Collins. I don't think it's a foul. I think it's pure utter strength from CASEMIRO to, you know, hold up his body strength and hold his body in the position of strength. I don't think it's a foul. I don't know why the referee's even given a foul against CASEMIRO, because in my view, I don't think it's a foul. I think it's a stonewall strength of versatility and ability to be able to come up against your strong counterparts inside that Brentford back four. I don't think it's a foul. I think play was allowed to resume, and I think the referee did that correctly. But it's just the miss from ERIKSEN. I can't believe when he missed that, I was absolutely up in arms on how the hell that has not gone in the back of the Brentford net. I was absolutely... I couldn't believe it. And I thought, you know what? It's not going to be our day. And I thought Brentford were going to come away with, again, an unlikely result that, again, inside that first half, if you go and watch the game back, go and look at the amount of chances we had on that Brentford goal. We were absolutely creating so many opportunities for Manchester United to get this performance over the line, because we needed the 3 points today. We needed the win. We need the result, because when you're 1-0 down at half time, and it was looking very precarious, because we were only 4 points above the bottom three. 4 points above the bottom three. You think to yourself, this relegation fight we're talking about, and we're battling with the bottom three, this might happen. This could be a serious opportunity where Manchester United end up having themselves in a relegation fight with the likes of Ipswich, Wolves and Southampton. Man United could be amongst the relegation candidates to go down from the Premier League and into the Championship for next season. And when you're 1-0 down, I honestly didn't expect us to turn it around, because, again, it's just the goal we concede. I'm very, very frustrated with DALOT, because there's a lot of Diego DALOT fans out there. It's just his lack of defensive marking and his lack of defensive charisma that has allowed Ethan Pinnock to get in that situation. And I can't overlook that, I'm afraid. Diego DALOT should be knowing a lot better than what he is. DALOT should be doing so much better than what he is at Manchester United. And there's a lot of fans for him, and there's a lot of fans that back Diego DALOT. But I am telling you now, if you think he's the right back to get Manchester United progressing forward into the future, we need to be moving the likes of Diego DALOT on. He is not good enough. He should not be allowing his man to run right away from him inside that penalty area. You need to be preventing Brentford from getting an unlikely chance to get themselves an unlikely first half lead to take inside that second half. And I honestly thought what was going to happen, Brentford find that second goal in that second half and they go on and win the game. That is what the vibe and the atmosphere and the negativity I got from a Man United point of view. I honestly expected Brentford to build on that lead. I think where it went wrong for Brentford, they couldn't really get Mbeumo in that game. And again, I think where it went right from a Manchester United point of view today, I think having, Johnny Evans at left back and obviously Martinez to do that role as well, we managed to have Mbeumo in our pockets today. We managed to have Mbeumo completely not making a threat. Mbeumo is Brentford's best player. You can't, if you don't get Mbeumo in that game, you're not really going to be able to get Brentford across the line. And again, I think Mbeumo was probably, facing quite an easy battle today, because when you see that United lineup, you think to yourself, you're starting Johnny Evans at left back, and you've got a quick, versatile, attacking wide player with the quality of Mbeumo attacking Johnny Evans. And I'm not keen at Johnny Evans starting at left back, but again, that for me is on Manchester United for not signing a left back. We do need to sign one in January, because I don't want to have to keep putting players out of position just to avoid the left back option. We do need to be signing a left back, and Man United need to get one in January, and they're going to have to sanction the signing. Whoever that left back's going to be, I'm not sure. But I thought, based on the team selection that United went with, I was concerned, very, very concerned, where Manchester United were going to be able to get this result today, because I feared having Johnny Evans against Mbeumo. I thought Mbeumo was going to have Johnny Evans in his pocket, because I didn't feel like Mbeumo was going to be able to see Johnny Evans as a big threat. But I think Mbeumo didn't have his best game today, because I think what happened, we then started to switch things around. We went with Johnny Evans next to DALOT, and then we went with Martinez at left back to pocket Mbeumo. And that, for me, probably paid off tactically to prevent an Mbeumo-inspired Brentford performance from him, to prevent Mbeumo having a field day in the second half. Because if Brentford find that second goal, we are in a very, very difficult situation where we are having to talk about the manager again. And I think Erik ten Hag, probably his tactics have paid off today. But I would say it's only just. Manchester United, there is still a lot of room of improvement. But again, a win is a win. You've got to take the positives that we've won this game today, the way we've been able to have a second half comeback being inspired by players like Garnacho and Rasmus Hojlund. And again, I didn't see much from that front three in the first half, if I'm being really honest with you. Again, the confidence from me went in that second half. As soon as we kicked off in the second half, I thought, if we're not creating any chance for our front three, how the hell are we going to be able to get back in this game? And again, we need to talk about Marcus Rashford. For me, again, it was a very, very frustrating performance. It was a very, very lackadaisical and lethargic Marcus Rashford. And again, we keep having this debate that Marcus Rashford, if he's not performing well, he should be on the bench. And I think he should be. I don't think Marcus Rashford's stepping up. I don't think Marcus Rashford is putting in the performances that give him the latter to be able to start games for Manchester United. I think he needs to be dropped eventually, because I think, for me, the confidence in him is gone. I look at Marcus Rashford since Barnsley. He's not looked like the same player. And he looks like a player that looks very frustrated. He looks like a player who's lacking confidence in his ability to score. And I think when he doesn't get a score, he gets in a huff, he gets in a tiff. And I think he doesn't like it when he isn't the main man putting the ball in the back of the net. But the only bit of inspirational thing from Rashford in that second half was the ball inside the Brentford penalty area, and Garnacho smashed it in for 1-1. That was the best bit of play for Marcus Rashford all game long. That was the only bit of inspirational play and the vibe I got from Rashford. That was the only bit that I got really excited for. It's a great ball into the box, by the way. And to find Garnacho the way he found him was absolutely pure and utter brilliance. That is probably one of the crosses of the season, to provide an assist of that quality to be able to get us back in that game. And fair play to Garnacho, because you've got two options when that ball comes in. You either head it low, you hit it with your left foot, or you hit it with your right foot. And Garnacho, thankfully, has hit it. I think, is he hit it with his left, or has he hit it with his right? I'm not 100% sure which foot he hit the shot from, but the brilliance and the power and the finesse and the precision to be able not to put that ball over the bar, because if that goes over, I don't think we find another goal scoring opportunity. You've got to get that finish right. You've got to hit it well. You've got to hit it perfectly, and you've got to be able to not screw up that opportunity that you get on the Brentford goal. And again, I would say Brentford's defending is very, very, very lethargic. I would say Brentford's back four isn't exactly the strength or the superiority that Brentford fans probably expect from their back four. I think Brentford should be doing a lot better than what they've been doing defensively in the last few games. Brentford do concede a lot of goals, and that is 5 goals now in the last 2 games that Brentford have conceded from. So I'm not surprised Brentford in the first place have conceded the goals they've conceded, because I mean, a ball like that from Marcus Rashford and it goes unchallenged, and not one Brentford player has decided to try and block that from, happening. Like, no one anticipated that Rashford was going to put that type of ball or cross into the Brentford penalty area. And again, where it's went wrong from a Brentford point of view is that Garnacho again has been left unmarked inside the Brentford penalty area. And I think, Garnacho makes the right move at the right time to be able to exactly pinpoint that cross from Rashford. And hello to Daniel Reaper in the chat. I haven't seen you for a long time. Hope you're good, mate. Massive shout out to you in the live chat. But yeah, Garnacho has anticipated that type of cross quite quickly, and he's got himself into that position where he's got, like I said, he's got 3 options. He hits it with his left, he hits it with his right, or he heads it low. And you don't want to be putting that type of ball over the bar. You don't want to be putting that shot that you've had been made for you on the plate, because again, that is brilliant for Marcus Rashford to get Garnacho in that position in the first place, and to provide that type of quality assist has to go down to one of the assists of the weekend. That is a brilliant bit of individual brilliance from a player that, again, he's lacking confidence. You can see that in Rashford's game. He doesn't look like the same player he was currently, but it's a brilliant ball in, and it's a brilliant finish to get us back in that game. It gets us back at 1-1. It gets us back on level terms, and we are massively back in the game. And we had the momentum then. We had the confidence, we had the versatility, we had the confidence, and all of a sudden, you could see the confidence in the fans. You could see the confidence supporters. The raw, when we got that goal back, I think was a sign of, let's go and build on this now. Let's not throw this away. We've got ourselves back into this game. We feel stupid for conceding that goal in the first half in the first place. But again, that is on DALOT. DALOT has to be questioned for that goal in the first place. And he is at fault for United going in 1-0 down at half time. I wasn't expecting us to go 1-0 down at half time with the amount of opportunities we took. I honestly, in my view, we were better. Brentford, I don't think, came out of the blocks there. I think Brentford were very lethargic in some way. I think Brentford probably tried to play for a point. I think that's what Brentford tried to do out this game today, that they tried to come to Old Trafford and get an unlikely result. And I was disappointed by Brentford, because they are a good side. They do play good football under Thomas Frank, and they do have a recognisable style of play, and they do have players that will be able to deal damage to the opposition. And I don't think Brentford came to Old Trafford today expecting anything. If Brentford come away with a point, I think Thomas Frank, probably in Brentford's view, would probably be a lot happier that his team have got a result, because I think if this ends in a draw, again, we are pinpointing Erik ten Hag has got to go. Erik ten Hag, if we would have lost that game or even drawn, I would have said he's got to go tonight. There's no excuses now. United have got to make a decision. And clearly, I think Erik ten Hag went into that dressing room in the second half, before the second half, at half time. And I think he probably gave them an absolute rocket, because the performance in the second half was miles better than what it was in the first half. We were making even more chances for us in the second half, and we were trying to get the ball out wide more for our attacking wingers to be able to, deal a lot more of a threat onto the Brentford goal. And I think that is probably why we got the best out of certain players today. Like Garnacho, again, there is debate now that he has to be starting on that left wing. But again, it doesn't help when we've got no right winger. Like, again, in my view, I didn't think Rashford looked comfortable on that right wing. I think he really struggled to get a grip onto the game. I don't feel like he had his best game today. But again, the assist he's provided has got us back into that game. He's got Garnacho in. Garnacho's made it 1-1. We need to go on and win the game. And I think after that, you look at the momentum shifted. I think from a Brentford point of view, their morale dropped, their confidence went, their heads were gone. And I don't think Brentford probably expected Manchester United to come out the blocks that quickly inside that second half. I think Brentford probably was shocked by, I think Brentford were quite shocked by the Man United comeback, because I think Brentford probably looked at it today thinking, right, Manchester United haven't won since the 17th of September. We've got a huge opportunity to get their manager gone today. Let's try to go Old Trafford and get ourselves a result that no one else really is probably expecting us to get. And again, they got their lead inside the last 5 minutes inside that first half. They would have had the confidence would have been there to be able to take inside the second half. But Brentford looked different when that goal went in, when they came out for the second half. It looked like Brentford were on the losing side. It looked like Brentford were the team that were 1-0 down. Something happened inside that dressing room, inside Thomas Frank's team before the second half commenced. I think, Brentford looked completely different than what they were in the first half, because they were frustrating the hell out of United. You could see that, Brentford were massively parking the bus, but they were still allowing Manchester United to get chances on their goal. But luckily, I think from a Brentford point of view, if you have to give any, player contender for player of the match, and you have to give any shout out to any of those Brentford players today, I think the only player that would probably cover himself in any glory for Brentford would be their goalkeeper in Flecken. I mean, he is a very, very good goalkeeper. Like, I rate Flecken very, very highly. And I think for me, the amount of saves that he denied certain United players from, and the amount of saves he made to deny United any chance of a lead or doubling the lead, I think probably he's the only Brentford player that would have covered himself in any glory to, because he was pulling save after save after save off. It looked like we couldn't find the net, and it looked like that was going to be the story of today's game, that it was going to end in a stalemate. And I think Brentford in the end probably took the confidence of, well, we're 1-0 up now. Let's try and park the bus in the second half, and let's try and break Manchester United on the counter-attack. And I think that is where Brentford went wrong. I think, like, as soon as the Garnacho goal in, Brentford's heart sunk. That is the vibe I got. I felt like Brentford were absolutely at 6s and 7s. I think the amount of opportunities they were allowing Man United to create, it's looked like Brentford looked lost, in my view. I thought Brentford looked absolutely abysmal. I thought Thomas Frank's, all that hard work first half to get yourself an unlikely lead, they didn't build on it. You allowed Man United to get back in that game very, very quickly. And as soon as you get the equaliser, you think to yourself, right, we might have to pop the bus here. Let's take a point. At least we didn't lose the game. And that Brentford, from a Brentford point of view, you probably would have taken that point. But I think, I'm a big fan of, what Brentford are doing. They've been a class act since they've become a Premier League side, and they've got a lot of great fans and supporters, and massive shout out to them. But I think you're lacking a goal-scoring striker. I think Brentford are lacking goals, and I think they've got the same problem as Manchester United. We are scoring. We're not scoring enough. We've got strikers that can put the ball in the back of the net on a consistent basis. But I'm a big fan of the strikers we've got. I am an advocate of young, hungry players. I like to build a younger and hungrier team for the future for this football club. And I'm thankfully, we've had a striker that has been able to put the ball into the back of the Brentford net in that second half. You've got to praise the brilliance of Rasmus Hojlund, but you've got also praise the brilliance of Eriksen finding that through ball to Bruno. Bruno with that little flick with the outside of his foot to put Hojlund in one-on-one with Flecken. But it's the pure arrogance, and I think it's the pure genius of what Rasmus Hojlund is trying to do at this football club. He's trying to become the star man. He's trying to become that goal-scoring striker that we've been needing for a very, very long time. And thank God he has found his first goal of the Premier League season. But it's the brilliance of his finish. Like, you've got 3 options, really. You hit it low at the front post, you smash it into the top right-hand corner, or you go for the audacious one and you go for the chip. And I think Rasmus Hojlund found the right option. Get the ketchup on the chips and chip the ball over Flecken. It is a brilliant, brilliant piece of finishing. That is what a striker can do at the right place at the right time. And you have to make that decision quickly, because if you make the decision and you delay it for so long, Flecken will just come and collect the ball. And, Brentford have saved the ball from end up in the net. But it is brilliant, brilliant play to be able to put Hojlund in one-on-one in that situation, to chip the ball over the way he did over Flecken. That is a type of striker that I think can see that cares. He wants to become that elite striker. He's got that mentality of, well, I can finish this in different ways. I can find the ball in the back of the net against Brentford in a situation that I've got to make this happen. And if I miss this, I'm going to get crucified. And at last, we finally have a striker that is starting to score goals. And that, I think that is why I think Erik ten Hag has finally seen sense. I think he's had to change it. I think Ten Hag has had to change things quite quickly because Man United aren't scoring enough goals. I think, you know, the nail's been hit on the head, I think, in the last few games and in the last few results. I think, you know, the nail's been hit on the head that, you know, Joshua Zirkzee again has been diminished to the bench. I'm not surprised Zirkzee's been benched. I'm really, really not surprised because, again, we have to talk about the second half substitution of Zirkzee. It was, again, for me, quite a pointless substitution. I know, obviously, you like to freshen things up and like to bring fresh and hungrier players on to change players that might not be able to play 90-odd minutes. And again, you know, you have to make subs. You've got to rotate things. You've got to change things up in the way that you want to be able to give players an opportunity, again, to prove themselves. But again, this is why Hojlund started, because I don't think Joshua Zirkzee's cut out for the Premier League. And it is sorry to say that I think we are starting to see the beginning of the end of Joshua Zirkzee being a Manchester United player because, you know, I thought, let's try and find the third goal. We're 2-1 up here. We need to find that third goal. And we didn't. We didn't find that third goal that I think we could have been desperately in need of. We did need to find that third goal because I think that was what was missing from today's result. We were missing that final clinching goal to keep this game comfortable. Because if you go 2 goals up, you know you've won the game. You know you've got the result. You know you've got the 3 points, and you know you've got off lightly again. But it's just the finishing article isn't quite there yet. And I think, again, 9-goal games without a goal from Zirkzee, I think is a telltale sign that I think the trust is gone. I think, you know, Zirkzee looks absolutely shot of any confidence. He doesn't look like the player he was against Fulham, if I'm being really honest with you. And since then, I think, you know, this is why Hojlund's had to come back in because, again, the pressure is on him to score goals and he knows he has to get Man United over the finishing line. He's got to start scoring the goals. He's got to start taking his opportunities because I think, you know, Rasmus Hojlund probably looks at Zirkzee thinking, right, he's gone 9 games without a goal. I need to put the ball in the net here because I'm going to be under huge pressure to then score myself because, again, the pressure is on Rasmus Hojlund. And again, that is very, very unfair on a young, versatile player who has got potential to be world-class, by the way. Rasmus Hojlund is a world-class striker who has got the ability to take his game up to the next level. And I do solely believe that. I think Rasmus Hojlund is a quality striker. And when you don't have a striker that can score goals, it is frustrating. It is worrying. It is quite depressing that we aren't taking opportunities that we create for ourselves and our strikers aren't finding the back of the net. And again, it is 2 strikers from Serie A, but one is doing better than the other. One is doing better than the other, and it's miles. It's miles between the levels of Zirkzee compared to Rasmus Hojlund. The levels of quality is there in a nutshell. Yeah. It's quality in a nutshell. Rasmus Hojlund is scoring the goals we need because Zirkzee can't do that. Zirkzee can't put himself in those type of opportunities against the opposition goalkeeper. He can't put himself in that space. And I think this is why Rasmus Hojlund has come back into this team. I think this is why Rasmus Hojlund is, you know, the pressure's on him to deliver because Zirkzee doesn't have that finishing quality that we expected him to do. And again, it is a waste of money. It is money not well spent. It is money that has not been spent well on strikers that can't put the ball in the net. But you've got to be thankful for the type of finish that, you know, Hojlund's got us to win us that game because it's a huge 3 points. This could be the start of the turning point. Like, this Brentford game might do Manchester United the world of good. This result could put Manchester United on an upward spiral of winning games. It might be this might be the turning point, but I think that there's bigger things to come. There are bigger games that Manchester United do need to be winning, and it is Brentford at the end of the day. We should be expecting to beat Brentford. We should be beating teams like Brentford at home. You shouldn't be losing to them. You need to be winning that game because they don't have the quality you have. They don't have the finish articles that Man United do have in that team. And I think, again, that is where Brentford lacked inside that second half. They don't have the finish article in a clinical striker. I mean, you've got young players like Lewis Potter who, you know, did quite a lot. Was he at Hull City before he went to Brentford? And all of a sudden, he's been put in the position of a winger. And you've got Sade, you know, who's kind of a young, versatile type of striker, completely different from Ivan Toney, that doesn't, again, have the finish article that Brentford were probably looking for long term. And you basically have Mbeumo. Like, if Brentford don't have Mbeumo in that team, then I think Brentford would be fighting relegation, because, you know, he is a quality player, but he didn't have his game to that I thought I was expecting. I was expecting a tough match, to be honest with you. I was expecting Brentford to be tougher opposition. I was expecting Brentford to be better than what they were. That was, in my view, quite shambolic. I thought that was very, very, very disappointing from a Brentford point of view, that you've lost the game. You were 1-0 up and you've bottled it. They tried to park the bus inside that second half and try and break us on the counter-attack, but we were dominating the game. We were dominating the possession. They couldn't get hold of the ball. We were just creating chance after chance after chance to try and rescue this game. Because if we lose, we are talking about a shit weekend. United have lost again. No win since September the 17th. This could have been a different conversation if Man United would have lost today. But luckily, we've got the 2 goals. It's disappointing we haven't kept the clean sheet. It's disappointing the way we've conceded the goal. I'm still quite angry at that, by the way, but I'm positive that we finally have a win. And it's been a long time. Like, over a month and 2 days, we last won a game. And that today has been ended. But because of the second half comeback, like, I think without Garnacho and Hojlund in that team today, we don't win this game. I think Man United come away with a defeat, or at least a point. I don't think without those 2 today, I don't think Man United would have got anything. And this is why they need to be starting games, because they've got the full package. These 2 players absolutely care. They're absolutely giving their all. They're absolutely showing that they can do it. They do care. They are putting their hearts on the line here, because they've got the youth on our side. They've got their age on their side. And they've got the ability to be able to come up against these teams that have got aging centre-backs, that have got aging players in their team, you know, who haven't got much years left in their footballing careers. And if you've got young, hungry players like that, who can go up against the older opposition, the younger ability is going to dominate the older ability, because the older ability aren't going to be able to cope against players that have got the age and the youth on their side to be able, you know, someone eventually got the result. I was in the Stretford end and someone got in a scrap. Oh, bloody hell. It doesn't surprise me. Again, it's probably due to how we're losing the game. It's probably down to the way Man United are playing, that fans are starting to scrap again. And that is quite disappointing from a Man United point of view. That is very, very, very frustrating that we are still fighting amongst ourselves. Fans, supporters aren't exactly agreeing eye to eye about the direction of the way this football club needs to go. We need to be sticking together, really. We need to be working together. We need to be showing that, you know, at the end, Man United need to stick together. This fan base and supporters, we have to be there for each other. We've got to support one another, because if we don't, this is the type of situations this fan base gets itself into. We don't do enough for ourselves, and we create our own downfall. But I'm just relieved more than anything that we finally have a win, because if we don't win, I don't know where. We haven't got anywhere to hide. We can't hide ourselves from a defeat again. And United would have been crucified if they wouldn't have won this game. They would have been absolutely torn. A shred would have been torn out of them, because the first half was frustrating. To go 1-0 down in the set before the half time is very, very annoying. I think Ten Hag wouldn't have been happy. I think Ten Hag again has been saved by the bell. He's been saved by, you know, the 2 young, hungry players that are getting game time, which they do deserve. And again, I've had a conversation with my mate Josh today, and a massive shout out to him that I don't understand why Ten Hag doesn't play Ahmad, Hojlund, Garnacho together as your front 3, because clearly that is the direction I want us to go in, because that right wing is still a problem. That right wing is a massive issue still. And again, what I was a bit annoyed with, that UGARTE was left on the bench, DALOT, Ahmad was left on the bench, MAZRAOui. And again, all 3 of them before the game yesterday evening, all 3 of them were fit to play. So again, there is no hiding that I think the team selection's wrong, because I don't think the midfield did anywhere near enough creativity in that first half to get the ball forward towards our attacking front 3 players. I don't think they did nowhere near enough. That midfield is massively lacking leadership. That midfield is lacking quality to be able to deliver the ball to our attacking players at a faster pace. This is why we are struggling to score goals because our front three are getting frustrated by the midfield job that is going on. And again, CASEMIRO looks like he's picked up a knock. So again, that might be a sign of positivity. That means UGARTE now comes back in. But UGARTE, we got told yesterday, was fit. Why he's not started today bewilders me, because 60 million, 3 months trying to sign him, he should be starting games for this football club. And, you know, I'm frustrated with that. I'm frustrated with the lack of game time Ahmad's now getting. And I'm frustrated that MAZRAOui was fit. He was back in training, but we're not starting him. But you're starting Johnny Evans at left back and Martinez, DALOT and DALLO, which don't work, by the way. It don't work. So I think Ten Hag got the team selection wrong, but it probably paid off because we were able to dominate the second half. The midfield looked sharper. It looked hungrier. It looked like we were controlling the game. We were holding onto the ball a lot more and getting the ball forward, and we weren't delaying passes. I thought there was a lot of change in that second half performance compared to the first half. We were getting that ball forward more from the midfield inside the second half than what I thought we were in the first half, and that again is a massive sign of positivity that we were able to dominate that game today, and we were able to try and turn this sinking ship around that has been sinking over the last month and 2 days, because it has been sinking. We have been really shit for the last month and 2 days. We've been absolutely abysmal. We have been an absolute, we have been a laughingstock. We have not exactly been the consistent club that we are looking for from a fan base, from a supporter's point of view. It's been a very frustrating last month and 2 days. It's been a hell of a ride, I would say, for Man United fans in the last few weeks. It's been very downward spiral. It's been very depressing. It's been quite negative. It's been quite annoying that we haven't been able to deliver the levels that we've wanted to be able to deliver on a consistent basis. Okay, but it felt like something clicked today. It felt like we've actually starting to see Manchester United play the football that we've wanted to see. But it was still, it was just a frustrating end to the first half that I'm not happy with. It's that I can't forgive that defending, and I can't defend that bit of it defense from DALOT. That is bad. Like, that is beyond bad, how bad that bit of defending is. That's unforgivable. You don't, let your man run away from you and you just stand there and let that attacking opportunity happen in front of your own eyes, where you should be putting yourself in a better position to prevent that situation from Brentford from going 1-0 up. That's what's annoyed me, is that we've not kept the clean sheet, and DALOT's defending's abysmal. And again, the Diego Dalot fan club has got to be taking some responsibility on how awful Dalot is. He needs, if Real Madrid were to come in for him, I would be taking it, because he ain't the right back we need. And I think we're better without him. And then you look at the one-on-one situation where Sade completely mishandles the one-on-one situation with Dalot's one-on-one with the goalkeeper. Dalot had an opportunity to make it 3-1. And he didn't take it. So Dalot is at fault for quite a lot today, for not taking the opportunity to score when he did, and the goal in the first half. That, for me, is the only negatives I've got from today's game. But we've won the game. We've won 2-1. We have a win after over a month. And it's been a long time coming. We actually get to celebrate quite a good weekend. I mean, we've got the F1 sprint race on at 6. We've got the F1 Grand Prix tomorrow in the United States. So, again, thank God it's been a weekend to actually celebrate that we've actually won a game and not had to talk about, well, Erik ten Hag's got to go. Erik ten Hag needs to be sacked. He's got to be gone tonight. But he has been bailed out. He's been saved by the bell. He's been massively bailed out by Garnacho and Hojlund, who I think inspired the comeback, United's comeback. I think they rescued Manchester United today. I think Hojlund and Garnacho massively rescued us out of trouble. And I think that is why I am giving both of them my player of the match, because without their 2 goals, and without their creative attacking threat in that second half, we don't win this game. We lose this game. Without their 2 goals, we don't rescue points. Without those 2 in this team, we don't get anywhere. So I'm giving Garnacho and Rasmus Hojlund my player of the match today. So I hope you enjoyed this live full-time reaction. Please hit the like button and the share button. Please keep subscribing to the channel, United Red Devils 20 on YouTube. Share the video, hit the tweet button, hit the retweet button. And always remember, notification bell, put that bell on at all times so you receive dedicated upcoming brand new content we have got planned for you for the rest of these last few weeks and these last 2 months in 2024 this year. We've got brand new exclusive content for you. We want to get all of you people more involved on the live content as well. So obviously share the video, hit the tweet button and hit the retweet button. But as always, if you put that notification bell on, you will receive all this live exclusive content. But Manchester United 2, Brentford 1. Finally, we have a win. Finally, 3 points. Man United are back to winning ways. It's been a long wait, a month and 2 days since we last won, but that losing streak and that winless streak has come to the end today at the hands of Brentford at Old Trafford. And then obviously, please join me for the live look ahead on Monday evening for Man United's away game in the UEFA Europa League on Thursday night away to Jose Mourinho's Fenerbahce. The return of Mourinho, the return of Fred, and the return of Sofian Amrabat. Enjoy this weekend, stay safe, and be nice and be kind to all legends, all legendary. See you on the next one. United, United, United.